Alright, hey folks, welcome back. I'm Mr. NuclearMonster back again. This will be day 765 of learning German. And I am using Duolingo and Memrise to learn German. This is Duolingo, this is Memrise. And thank you as always to Peter Silk for the amazing music they put together. I really appreciate the work that they did. You can also check out Kyster here, who's made the rain sound that we're about to listen to as soon as this music's done and this intro is over. Yeah, so this will be day 765. I am in the fully in the demotion zones place, 27 on Duolingo of the 30 slots on the Steinman League leaderboard. There's 3 days left. Yeah, I'm getting another late start too, so that's not great. But you know, I don't know. This intro is quickly wrapping up. Let's go to learning German now. All right, here we are, day 765. Yeah, I've got about 30, a little bit less than 30 minutes here. There's a hard left turn there. Yeah, let's pick something to do here. I need to level up some stuff so I can get some legendary. Oh, and let's get some rain noise. This is Kyster's rain. There we go. I'm actually gonna turn that up a little bit and figure. This goes up a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's much better. Okay. Let's match some pairs.
Kekse.
Cookies. Yum, 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 yum.
Neffe.
Nephew.
Club.
Club.
Warum?
Why?
Ja, ich liebe die Musik von Beethoven.
Ja, ich
Ich
liebe
liebe
die Musik
Musik
von Beethoven.
Beethoven.
Beethoven. Ja, ich liebe die Musik von Beethoven. I think we all know what that means. It means, yes, I love the music from Beethoven. The music of Beethoven. So I can only fix this mic. Alright. Match some more pairs.
Nein.
That's a no.
Welche?
Which?
Opa.
What?
Opa.
Opa. What?
Opa. Opa. Opa.
I don't really hear the ER sound. But alright.
Konzert.
Wann machst du deine Reise?
Wann machst du deine Reise? When are you going on your trip? When are you taking your trip? Wann machst du deine Reise?
Endlich.
Oh, that's a finally.
Anzug.
What?
Fleisch.
Meat?
Viertel.
Quarter?
Anzug.
Suit. Anzug. Suit. No, that's... Oh, okay. Der Anzug. The suit. Men's suit.
Anzug.
Okay.
Du musst auf jeden Fall einen Anzug einpacken.
Du musst auf jeden Fall einen Anzug
Du musst auf jeden Fall einen Anzug einpacken.
einpacken. Okay. You definitely have to pack a suit. Du musst auf jeden Fall einen Anzug einpacken. My colleagues and their daughter like classical music. Meine Kollegen
Meine Kollegen.
and their daughter. What is this implying? That your colleagues are married and well, anyway, have a child together? Is that what it's implying? That's very strange. Anyway, meine Kollegen and their daughter like classical music. Und ihre Tochter mögen klassische Musik. Musik. Meine Kollegen und ihre Tochter mögen klassische Musik. My colleagues and their daughter like classical music.
Meine Freunde und ihre Pflanzen lieben klassische Musik.
My friends and their plants love classical music. Meine Freunde und ihre Pflanzen lieben klassische Musik. That's pretty funny. Yes, I love the music of Beethoven.
Ja, ich liebe die Musik von Beethoven.
Ja, ik liebe die muziek van Beethoven. Yes, I love the music of Beethoven.
Unsere Eintrittskarten sind billig, nur 20 Euro.
Our admission tickets are cheap, only 20 euros. Our admission tickets are cheap, only 20 euros. Unsere Eintrittskarten sind billig, nur 20 Euro. Okay.
Spielt dein Neffe wirklich Geige für die Oper?
Spielt dein Neffe wirklich Geige
Wirklich Geige
für die
für
Oper?
die Oper.
Oper.
Spielt dein Neffe wirklich Geige für die Oper?
Does your nephew really play violin for the opera? Spielt dein Neffe wirklich Geige für die Oper? Does your nephew really play violin for the opera? Yeah, that's a weird one. How many admission tickets do we need for the family? Wie viele Eintrittskarten brauchen wir für die Familie? Wie viele Eintrittskarten brauchen wir für die Familie?
Meine Eltern und ihr Hund hören fast nie klassische Musik. Und ihr Hund hören klassische Musik. Meine Eltern und ihr Hund hören fast nie klassische Musik.
Fast nie.
Fast nie klassische Musik. Meine Eltern und ihr Hund hören fast nie klassische Musik.
Okay. My parents and their dog almost never listen to classical music. Yep. Meine Eltern und ihr Hund hören fast nie klassische Musik. Fast is almost in German. Oh no, I don't have a suit for the opera. Oh nein.
Nein, ich habe keinen Anzug für die Oper.
Oh nein, ich habe keinen Anzug für die Oper. Oh nein, oh no, I don't have a suit for the opera.
Wie viele Eintrittskarten brauchen wir für die Familie?
Oh, how many tickets do we need for the family? This is what we had earlier, but just in reverse. Oh, they want admission tickets. How many admission tickets do we need for the family? Oh, I missed tickets now. Oh, how many admission tickets do we need for the family? Wie viele Eintrittskarten brauchen wir für die Familie? Wie viele Eintrittskarten brauchen wir für die Familie? So, Eintritt is admission, Karten, I guess cards, I don't know.
Eintrittskarten.
Yeah, entry tickets. It's weird.
Mein Neffe.
It's planning a trip.
Plant eine Reise.
He's visiting us next week. Er
besucht uns. Nicht uns.
Mein Neffe plant eine Reise. Er besucht nächste Woche uns. Oh, I'm not sure about this. My nephew is planning a trip. He is visiting us next week. No, er besucht uns nächste Woche. Okay. I got the first half right. My Neffe plant eine Reise. My nephew is planning a trip.
Ich mag nur die Musik von Verdi. Ich mag nur die Musik von Verdi.
I only like the music of Verdi. Ich mag nur die Musik von Verdi. My nephew is planning a trip. He is visiting us next week. Mein Mein Neffe.
Mein Neffe. Plan eine Reise. Er besucht uns nächste Woche.
Mein Neffe plant eine Reise. Er besucht uns nächste Woche. My nephew is planning a trip. He is visiting us next week. I shouldn't have second guessed myself. This is the first time I started to put down, I think, er besucht uns nächste Woche. And I corrected myself and put the nächste Woche after er besucht. And that was a mistake. I mean, I think someone would know what I was saying, possibly. But, yeah. Only got about 14 minutes left. Let's go through a quick learn with locals here on Memrise.
Du musst über die Straße gehen.
You have to walk across the street.
Du musst über die Straße gehen.
I feel like Memrise is definitely running out of stuff
Links
for me.
vorbei an der Kreuzung.
Excuse me. Links vorbei in der Kreuzung. To the left of the
Links
crossing.
vorbei an der Kreuzung.
Die Eier.
Die Eier.
Die Eier.
The eggs.
Die Pommes.
The fries.
Die Pommes.
Yum, 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 yum.
Der Onkel. Die Onkel.
The uncle, the
Der
uncles.
Onkel. Die Onkel.
Der Reis.
Der Reis.
Der Reis.
10.
10.
10.
The pay. Hey, guten Tag. Cheese? Käse? What is Valiant? What would Valiant be in German? No, cheese is Käse. Tapfer? Tapfer?
Tapfer.
Tapfer. Cheese. Tapfer or Käse?
Tapferer Käse.
It's really good. Tapfer or Käse. Dog Tapfer or Käse. You missed it. I had so I tried to stream the Steam Deck last night. And I was foolishly trying. I had desktop mode, but I don't know. That's no problem. You didn't miss much. I struggled for a good like 20 minutes with that situation. Nice. Well, it's good that you're working on your Pam Tram. Yeah, it eventually worked. I got it running for. I didn't try any local games.
Semesterende.
I just wanted to do something similar and do what it's supposed to do, right? Or like play a Steam game. Proton is garbage.
Es ist das Semesterende.
This is das Semesterende. I was trying to play a recent game that is advertised like. I don't know if they're advertising it or what, but I know like people have talked about Elden Ring working well in Proton, and like I got a white screen. Granted, I had the thing hooked up to this. Let me unhook it here. I had a USB-C hub hooked up to it to get like HDMI out and some USB ports and stuff, because it only has like one USB-C port, so of course you gotta use something like this. So I had all this stuff hooked up, and I had to use desktop mode to start and all this other stuff. So there's definitely reasons why things could have been a little not hunky-dory, but I don't know. I definitely it seemed not very well baked. Like I just got a white screen or a black screen half the time when I tried to launch the game. You know, who knows? It was hooked up into a secondary monitor, though. It had to be so I could stream the output.
Es ist das Semesterende.
This is das Semesterende. It is the end of the semester.
Mein Hund fliegt nicht gern.
My dog does not like flying. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. That is exactly it. So, Cheese says in the chat, Elden Ring has a gold rating on Proton DB. I think Platinum is the highest. He says in parentheses, but the newest ratings are 3 weeks old, and it's possible the patches since have busted something. That is the most. That is the fundamental flaw, I think. Like for me, like with anything's Windows emulation or pretendulation or API compatibility, I apologize. I'm pretty mean about this because I've been writing about this and talking about it for 20 years. I once had a verbal argument with the guy who ran and please understand, this is not anything regarding, anyway, I had a verbal argument with someone who ran a company that sold these things when I met him at a Linux convention. And he was selling what was called at the time WineX. And this was someone who had lied about like that they're going to release the source code to this thing once they got so and so many subscribers. But the fact of the matter is, like, even if these technologies work, like today, like let's say today I'm working on the software and I make the Windows emulation work today for Elden Ring or for whatever game, right? Tomorrow, that company that makes Elden Ring from software can make a patch, put it out, game stops working. Like, they're not targeting Proton for the patch. They're targeting Windows. Like, it doesn't matter that it works today. If it doesn't work tomorrow, it doesn't work the day after that. And then if they make a change to Proton so that Counter-Strike Next Generation or whatever it is, so it works and it breaks Elden Ring, well, too bad, right? That's just the way it goes, because it's this like moving target for every piece of software it's trying to target, and it can never work consistently for any of them, and it never does. Anyway, I apologize. It makes me really upset to think about this stuff because I've been writing about it for so long. This is actually me like toned down like 10 notches from where I was like 20 years ago about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Total. Yeah. It like, it's so wild. Yeah, like you literally would today have to, like, if something doesn't work for you in Elden Ring, you cannot complain to Bandai Namco, you cannot complain to From Software because it's not their fault if you're running it through Proton. I'm studying abroad. Ich studiere im Ausland. Ich fliege in den Ferien nach Hause.
Es ist endlich das Semesterende.
It is finally the end of the semester. Es ist endlich das Semesterende. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's a cool tool for running legacy stuff. I wish I could say that confidently. Like, I think honestly, it's good that it exists because, like, yeah, in many cases, there's software that will never be updated again. And if it like is glassed and you can just count on it to remain the same for the rest of its lifespan, theoretically that's something you could regression test against and be sure that it's going to keep working. One second, let me grab a drink of water. My favorite thing about the whole YNext group is or company, or this Canadian company that was doing this before Valve and before, at the same time as Code Weavers, I think, was that they eventually turned into a real estate company. That's how evil they were. Real estate investment firm, Trans Gaming, whatever they called themselves after. And that has nothing to do, of course, with people who are transgender. That's something completely different. Yeah, they don't even exist anymore. FinDev. Formerly Trans Gaming is a real estate financing company with its head office in Toronto. Gabriel State, that was the dude I got into the argument with. This is a guy. This dude's a trip. Anyway. Alright, we are on break now. Alright, wir haben jetzt Ferien.
Mein Bruder studiert Psychologie im Ausland.
This dude was telling me 20 years ago, in person to my face, that like it would one day like be like it would just work. It would just work. It would just work. It would be just fine. And they shipped like, I think they shipped like 3 or 4 different games. They got native Linux ports canceled, left and right. My brother studies psychology in Ausland. My brother studies psychology abroad. Wann genau ist das? When exactly is the end of the semester? Wann genau ist das Semesterende?
Fliegst du nach Hause oder fährst du?
Fliegst du nach Hause oder fährst du? Are you flying home or are you driving home? But fast. I don't know how to spell it. Oh, I just missed umlaut. My dog doesn't like to fly. Mein Hund fliegt nicht gern. 4 minutes left for learning German. But I'm happy to just go on ranting about Windows pretendulation technology. So look. Yeah, no, you're definitely right. Maybe they believe. I mean, maybe they truly believe that this is the appropriate technology. That this is the right path to take. I don't know. I mean, like I still play. I've got a Steam Deck. I've played it a bit. It seems decent in general. It's just that, you know, quite a few of the games that should work well with. Driving home during the break, like even like little indie games I've had problems with, as I mentioned before. Home during the break, fast.
Fahrt.
Yeah. In den
Ferien.
No, I've got to say about something about Hause here. Nach Hause.
Nach Hause in den Ferien.
Ja, oder fährt ihr in den Ferien nach Hause? Oder fährt ihr nach Hause in den Ferien? Are you driving home during the break?
Hurra, wir haben jetzt Ferien.
Hurra, wir haben jetzt Ferien. Hooray, we are on break now. My roommates are driving home during the break. Meine Mitbewohner.
Mitbewohner.
They are very foreign. My roommates are driving home to their break. Meine Mitbewohner fahren nach Hause in den Ferien. In den Ferien nach Hause. Fahren in den Ferien nach Hause. I will get to chat once I need to finish this.
Fahrt ihr in den Ferien nach Hause? Fahrt ihr in den Ferien nach Hause?
Ja, wir haben in 2 Wochen Ferien.
Ich studiere dieses Jahr im Ausland.
On break, what are you doing? Wir
haben jetzt Ferien. Was machst du?
We are now on break. What are you doing? Wir haben jetzt Ferien. Was machst du? My roommates are driving home during the break. Meine Mitbewohner.
Mitbewohner.
Fahren nach Hause.
Nach Hause in den Ferien. Nach Hause.
There we go. Meine Mitbewohner fahren in den Ferien nach Hause. My roommates are driving home during their break.
Ich studiere dieses Jahr im Ausland.
Ich studiere dieses Jahr nach Ausland. Im Ausland.
Ich studiere dieses Jahr im Ausland.
Alright, got it. Just before midnight. Oh, I didn't even hit my daily goal. That's a shame. Alright, I apologize. Let me get back to, I am in the demotion zone. I'm gonna remain in the demotion zone for the night. That's okay. So she said, catching up on the chat, from Valve's perspective, they're just not organized, coherent enough to handhold lots of developers into the scene. How I can see how internally controlled and maintained or not compatibility layers better fit for who they are and what they want, what they do. For long term, it doesn't lead anywhere beneficial for the platform itself. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I'm like, I think at the moment, like the general vibe of the community, at least like the gaming community, is that they are all impressed and happy with the Steam Deck, right? They get it. They're happy to have a portable computer. And I don't know, I haven't seen like people complain. Like if you go on, you know, that's actually one thing I haven't seen like Valve's forums for the Steam Deck. I've seen other forums where people are talking about the Steam Deck. I haven't seen Valve's forums for the Steam Deck. I wonder if people are complaining there about like game compatibility at all. I've seen other people with the same problems I had, like with the white screen on Elden Ring. I'm talking about the broader gaming community. Like I'm very curious about I want to understand their perception of this, because I want to understand their perception of the quality level, because I think that's really, like, you and I, like Cheese and I understand the like the philosophical implications, and then the implications of what this means for helping or not the platform of Linux as a gaming platform. And this is, of course, I recognize how ridiculous this is. I'm sitting here using Windows and a Mac to stream, and then like the Steam Deck is my only Linux gaming computer right now. I've got, you know, little Raspberry Pis and all, but like I'm very curious about the perception of gamers, like just people who play games, whether they want to call themselves gamers or not, however anyone wants to call themselves about this. But I'm very curious about the perception of regular people when they get the Steam Deck and they're trying to figure out like how to play games. Like I've seen people complain, not complain, but they just don't understand like they don't understand like the certification labels of so Valve has a program called verification or verified. It's Deck Verified, right? See at a glance how games will play on Steam Deck. So they're trying to educate their users. These are some of the games they recently verified or whatever. You can see all the verified games there. They say are great on deck. Bet Elden Ring's in here. Here's Elden Ring, right? Top row. This is a game that I launched. And got a black screen and it did nothing. And I had to force quit the game basically. And then I had to try it again like 2 or 3 more times. I rebooted the Steam Deck. I did it again. I'm basically a computer expert, right? I had to do all this other stuff to eventually get it to run, and then I had to put like Proton into experimental mode to get Elden Ring to run. This is on recently verified. Let's go look at the app on Steam. Right? Let's go look and see what it says for Steam Deck compatibility. Steam Deck compatibility. I hope you can read this. It says verified right here on the right. Verified. Learn more. Valve's testing indicates that Elden Ring is verified on Steam Deck. This game is fully functional. This game started to a black screen to me until I killed it. This game is not fully functional on Steam Deck. At least it wasn't. I admit, I was using, like I said, I was using a little USB-C thing to get video out so I could put the game onto my monitor, and you know, it wasn't great to do that kind of stuff, but you know, who knows where the error was. But I've seen other people complain about this. Like if we go search for Elden Ring, put Steam Deck in quotes, otherwise you get the Stream Deck from Elgato. Elden Ring Steam Deck white screen, right? And all right, so here's other people with the same problem on Reddit. Just received my deck. First thing I did was buy Elden Ring and install it. Everything went smooth. So this person bought Elden Ring just to try it on the Steam Deck. I got through character creation, started the game, then I paused and took a break, shut down the console. And they haven't been able to get through the Elden Ring loading screen after pressing continue just because black screen stuck on loading. Okay, that's a little bit different than what I had. I had just from launch. These people are having weird problems with their deck. Actually, I'm not even sure if that's the same issue. On launch. See if I can find the other one. There's other people on Linux gaming. Alright. DuckDuckGo search is not really doing it for me. Let's go. Alright, go cool. So here we go. This is the one I saw yesterday. When I was looking for answers for myself. This is exactly what I experienced, except I experienced it on a monitor. Oh wow, 32-bit apps don't have audio? Day of the Tentacle and Full Throttle. That's wild. That's wild. There's a bunch of other people saying it happens every time they launch the game, close the game, reopen it a few times, usually fixes it. Right? Like that's not fully working. That doesn't seem like a good experience. This is one of the most, I mean, a lot of people who've gotten Elden Ring have like, I've seen people like jokingly talk about how the user numbers for this have gone down. Also, completely unrelated. Oh, he changed it. Okay, this used to say Giant Bomb. Now it just says Jeff Gerstmann. That's good. They fixed it. Oh yeah, are you still responsible for the Full Throttle and Day of the Tentacle? Oh my gosh. Which is now technically Microsoft, since Double Fine is owned by Microsoft, wildly enough. But yeah, I mean, that's weird if they're not shipping 32-bit compatibility stuff, because they actually drag Valve drags Apple for not shipping 32 compatibility. So that's really hilarious. Steam client is still 32-bit. I'm not sure about that. I would not know how to check off the top of my head. But yeah, they have like a whole page up about how Apple sucks because they don't support 32-bit compatibility, and I don't necessarily disagree with Valve on that one, but it's kind of hilarious. Also, I like this old Twitter logo that they have here and Facebook logo. It's really good. Yeah. Elden Ring verified. I actually had this problem as well, that the game does not default to external USB controllers, so I had to stream the deck, and this is really my, just because the dock's not out, and they need to solve whatever's going on with Bluetooth external controllers or USB controllers. But I had to hold the deck with this thing and like 80 cables coming out of it. That's weird. Steam itself is still 32-bit, but they're not shipping 32-bit compatibility libraries for Pipewire. Very odd. Let's see this Proton DB. Let's see Elden Ring on here. So Cheese was saying in the chat that Elden Ring is gold. The Steam Deck, Steam definitely makes a bunch of bleeps and bloops on. They have a custom view though. I don't know what's going on with the custom view that they have on the deck. But it's not the same as what you get on Windows or on any computer besides the deck. It's like big picture mode, but it's a little bit different. It's not. Actually, I can show you what it looks like. it's a little bit different. It looks similar. I think it's technically it's a different piece of software though, because I assume like they had someone else. I assume someone else or whatever deck team like got a, you know, decided that they're going to do something a little bit different. I don't know if it's not the same, if it's the same technology or what's going on there though. I don't know about anti-cheat. I mean, like, there were similar arguments about like NVIDIA drivers being closed source and whatnot for so long and things like that. And I think that's just kind of a losing battle. Like if you want people to come to the platform, I feel like you have to allow weird closed source stuff to come on board, because like the game at the end of the day is also closed source. I don't disagree that they don't make sense. I think supposedly NVIDIA recently open sourced some of their drivers, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I would like to write my own report here. Runs perfectly after tweaks. Yikes. How do you... Oh, you just sign into your Steam account? I mean, the reason why they do the closed source drivers, there's like two or three different obvious reasons why you can assume they do that. Because they don't want yes, it's polluted with code that they don't own, don't have, right? The middleware problem, or in this case, like let's talk about like something like an audio bit, right? Because of HDMI and stuff like that, they're gonna have to have basically a sound card functionality in the stuff. So they're gonna have at some point like pieces of code that they absolutely do not care about. They write once and then they license, and then they're gonna have stuff like all kinds of pieces, little bits and odds and ends like that they have to include, and that they don't have, that they don't own, they can't really just give out. You know, NVIDIA is such a huge company that they can probably work around a lot of that, but they certainly don't care enough to do it. And then the other part of it is they don't want, in the case of like NVIDIA, they don't want AMD taking their stuff and basically copying the functionality. No, it's hilarious because now you're ended up in situations where some pieces of the technology AMD has not created that run on NVIDIA cards as well as or better than they run as the NVIDIA technology runs that they're competing with, like certain upscaling technologies that they've been working on lately. Though I'm not super familiar with that stuff. An identifier. See if there's some way I can log in here and live report on how bad this is. There we go. Yeah. I guess I can just do the sign through Steam, but I've also got to log into Steam on here, so I definitely want to hide my screen while I do that. I assume it uses OAuth. I've got to put in my Steam Guard code. Alright, now I'm signed in. Oh yeah, my library is private. Alright, now I think I can show the screen again. Alright, here we go. I'm logged in. My library is private. What on earth they want me to do? They want me to like share my... I have to share my system information? Wow, okay. Well, this looks like it's going to take more time than we probably have tonight to make a report on this. Who's even running this website? Passion Project Media for. Oh, whatever. Yeah, I don't think that this game is great on the deck. And maybe for most people, maybe I'm running into a corner case. Maybe I'm running into a corner case. I don't know. Most of the games I've tried have worked fine. Definitely not, it's weird to talk about VR mode of anything in relation to Steam Deck. I mean, obviously that's not, like Payday 2 probably just changed their description or something. I tried it like 5 times and I had to change my Proton to experimental on there or whatever. I definitely don't think anyone at Valve, or maybe they have and they're just waiting on some, you know, whatever their process is for taking their software, because I'm running the stable version of whatever the Steam OS is on the deck. So it's entirely possible that the problem's already fixed and it's in, you know, just the path to get live, but yeah, the stable experience is not great right now for that. And I had a few other games. What are the other games? There was see my profile. Yeah, and there's nothing saying that a future Proton update won't break things if they do fix it. So Nuclear Blaze was another game I had trouble with. Nuclear Blaze is a cool little, not little, but it's a cool game where you're this firefighter going into some weird place and it's just like you're putting out fires and stuff. It's neat. It gets a little strange, more sci-fi. And you're rescuing kitty cats. And this game displayed, I showed it on Twitter. I probably can't still bring up the error message, but this game displayed a big Windows error dialog box the first time I ran it on my Steam Deck. And I can't even remember what I had to do. Oh yeah, this game, when you launch it, it says, do you want to use DirectX or OpenGL? And it says DirectX parentheses recommended. And then it just says OpenGL, which is clearly then not recommended, right? But if you choose DirectX, the game doesn't launch. You get an error dialog box with like a bunch of like shader compilation errors or whatever it is. And then if you choose OpenGL, it runs. I think I saw a couple graphical glitches. So that's probably why they prefer the DirectX mode. But like, so this is also verified. Which is great. I don't know what experience Valve had trying to run the game. That was just on my deck with no external monitor stuff connected, no USB-C nonsense. The other game I had trouble with too was, not this. Let's go back here. Was Downwell. Downwell is an awesome little game, or actually pretty deep game. That's a joke. I ran this and this had the same kind of issue. Oddly enough, this one was fixed by rebooting the Steam Deck. I have no idea why. But thank you to Valve for bringing Windows Pretendulation back. I think that was a big mistake. And yeah, Downwell is fantastic. Everyone should try this. If you don't mind running a Windows game. Yeah, Apex Legend worked fine, surprisingly, despite it being a Windows pretend-related game. What other games did I try recently? I tried look at my silly Steam Deck profile. I tried recently played. I tried Rogue Legacy, worked great. Tried Demon's Tilt, worked fine. That game, like, it has some weird small font stuff that the developer commented on that they were fixing. Tried Into the Breach. Geez, I know you and I both love Into the Breach. The Steam Deck is, I regret to say, an amazing Into the Breach portable. Spelunky 2 worked fine. Apico demo worked okay, not great. Spelunky worked great. So, like, the majority of the things that worked great, but there's a couple things though that are just like super broken. Elden Ring should definitely work with every patch. There should be a team of interns or whatever who are like dedicated to making sure that keeps working. But I guess at Valve, like maybe the Steam Deck people have already like shuffled off their desks to another part of Valve to work on whatever they care about next. Who knows? Or the next Steam Deck with the next version of the hardware. Totally. Alright, this is technically still the learning German stream. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like eventually, like, once my kid's in school, I need to like just have a chatting with someone stream, and maybe Cheese and I are the ones to chat. I don't know, because we definitely have stuff to talk about with Linux and other subjects. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think like overall, like I want to talk about the deck hardware for a second here too. I think the deck hardware itself is really impressive. Like having a computer in your hands that's, well, not as powerful as like my desktop is really cool. So there's definitely things to be positive about with that hardware. The fact that it's running Linux, the fact that it has a desktop mode is neat. You know, I hope that in the end, like, it works out the way that, like, clearly the optimistic take on this is that, like, eventually this will lead to like native Linux ports somehow in the end, because people just want their games to run the best on there, and that could be good if that happens. But as it is right now, I haven't heard anything positive from the Linux developers I know who've been working or been looking at the deck, and that's really disappointing. We'll see. Maybe something will change. But it's disappointing that that's in the hands of like this giant company that essentially has like a monopoly stranglehold on digital distribution of games on Windows. And oddly enough, that's not Microsoft. I mean, that will be one day with Game Pass and all this other stuff, I'm sure. I'll convince people. Anyway, Cheese in chat says, I find it difficult to see a path to native Linux ports if it means the developers who are already getting money from Linux users by not targeting Linux will have to spend more money for no gain. Yeah. That's definitely... And right now, like, the numbers probably aren't there, right? Like, the numbers of Steam Decks out there are probably so low. Like, I imagine it's in the, like, tens of thousands. I know I saw some headlines about the Valve hardware survey. Here we go. This is actually like fantastic because I know that this is what developers should target, right? When they're making a game, they're going to look at this list. And if they're making like a big game that has, you know, meaningful system requirements, they're going to say, okay, this is essentially a decent look at what the average user has. They're going to say, okay, they've got a GeForce GTX 1060, they're running Windows 10, and that's basically it, right? The storage requirements, all this other stuff. And here we go, just the Linux view, where it says the Arch Linux. Oh, that's interesting. Saying that more people give more weight to the opinions of other developers than any of this stuff in terms of like what hardware to target. That's interesting. And it's they do say here that the most popular Linux distribution is Arch Linux, which is the version of Linux that SteamOS is based on. I have no idea how high Arch was. I wonder if you can get before the deck shipped. Oh, these graphs actually do not pertain to Linux stuff at all at the top. Yeah, it won't give me, it does show me a change, but it isn't telling me, I guess this is saying per month. I'm clicking on Arch Linux 64-bit and it's not giving me any graph or anything. Oh yeah, SteamOS Hollow is SteamOS Hollow is the deck. So if those are split out, then that means that the Arch Linux is pretty popular on its own. I had no idea. I actually don't even know, like, I'm kind of curious just what the Arch Linux website looks like. Yeah, it's 5% of the 1%. So if we do combined and then go down here and go to OS. So here, let me minimize Winamp. Linux is 1.12%, which is actually down 0.02% of all the Steam users who opt into this hardware survey. And of those, of those, the SteamOS doesn't even track on this list. It doesn't even show up. You can see though why someone would get confused when they see this list if they don't dig into the Linux only statistics and see which version of Linux, and then go see that SteamOS it doesn't even show up on that list. You could erroneously assume, like I did, that Arch Linux accounts for both SteamOS and regular Arch users. Yeah, I went to see this Arch Linux homepage. I don't know if this is like Gen 2. Like, I honestly have no idea about their system. What's the deal? Why is this most popular now? It's for the longest time it was Ubuntu. Well, it's kind of got like a Gen 2 thing where it doesn't stick to releases. That's interesting. I would still be someone who like just installs Ubuntu by default on any of the systems I use. I wonder if though if this translates to like this is obviously like desktop usage. And Ubuntu is still coming in second here. I wonder what people are doing for like servers and stuff. 'Cause I know there was a huge shakeup with like Red Hat and all too recently. Yeah, this is so far outside the realm of learning German. I should give a quick end to the learning German segment here. So thank you for tuning in. If you're watching for learning German, Linux desktop stuff is something I care about a lot still. But yeah, I'll be back with more learning German tomorrow night. What's Arch Linux in German? Oh boy. Let's do that. Arch.
Arch Linux.
Oh, they're not even gonna. Bogen.
Bogen.
Bogen Linux. I guess they spell it different, right? Like, isn't the Australian Bogen with an A instead of an E?
Bogen.
Maybe because it's like a brand name, it wouldn't get translated. But yeah, I think my understanding is that Bogan is like a I don't know, someone who's uncouth, let's say, in Australian parlance. So that's why I laughed. Yeah, it could be something like that. Absolutely could be. Is there a Wikipedia page for Bogan? Slang for a person whose speech, clothing, attitude, and behavior are considered unrefined or unsophisticated. Well, that's me. I thought it's like kind of like... I thought it's something like... Boganshire. Bogan River. Yeah, it seemed like it was something that was more necessarily applied to like... I thought it was like... Honestly, like a similar name of like the kind of gross term white trash in America. But I have no idea. I've never been to Australia. It has definitely not become cool to be a bogan. Things bogans like. Oh my gosh. This is an Anglo-Australian. Oh. It definitely seems classist. Like at the end of the day, it definitely seems... Oh my gosh. It definitely seems classist, right? Like... Yeah, I thought of chav being a similar kind of term. Oh boy. How do we get from Arch Linux to oh right, because of the translation. Thank you to Google Translate for translating Arch as Bogan with an E. That's not cool. Like I don't think it's cool to I think it's really shitty to harp on people for being poor. Like the whole I don't know. That's a huge thing. that has nothing to do with learning German. I'm still technically in learning German. Let's Bogan Linux, pronounced Linux. Yes. Let's end this part of this boganing. Wow. One thing I will note here that's pretty interesting is that so the current version of macOS is 12.4, but the number one version listed here on this Steam hardware survey is 12.3.1. Just kind of curious. I wonder if these people are running quote-unquote Hackintoshes or what? That they're running an older version of macOS. And I know that Valve also tells them to run, I think, an even older version. That Valve wants people to run an older version so they can maintain 32-bit compatibility and run most of the games that have been ported to macOS. That's kind of incredible that because I don't think that's 12.3.1. I think Valve macOS 32-bit. Yeah, they used to. Where is it? If you go to a store page for a game that runs on macOS, how can I get a list of games? Oh, let me see like new releases. Let's see new releases. Right. Oh boy. Popular, and then go to right, Mac OS, uncheck Windows, and we'll take Elder Scrolls Online is advertising Mac OS support. What on earth? Go to. So yeah, here they're saying system requirements Mac OS High Sierra. So 10.13 is probably the last version of Mac OS that still supports. I think it might be 10.15 that still supports it, because that's what I've seen here. Yeah, High Sierra. High Sierra would be the version. Which is also version 10.13. Okay, so it is 10.13. That makes sense. So, huh. I wonder why they're telling people to download High Sierra then. Maybe this article is really old? 2019. I'm not sure. Anyway, there's a thing that happens. So if I open like the same web page on my Mac, and I go to yeah, please link the post. I wonder if Elder Scrolls Online is 64-bit because it's not not giving me the error dialog that you normally shows. Normally when you go to see a game that and you go through like popular new releases and you open a game that has Mac OS support, it'll tell you this does not support versions of Mac OS higher than blah 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 or something like this, and then it'll link to a Valve page where it explains why. Maybe I need to open Steam on my Mac to get that. The Steam app on the Mac is just like absolutely atrocious. It uses like a ton of CPU just sitting here doing nothing. It's got to be a 64-bit app though on the Mac because it wouldn't even run at all on modern Macs if it's not 64-bit. Yeah. Releases. And interesting, I've definitely seen Apple Silicon or M1 compatible games shipping on Steam, so like people are clearly doing it. Maybe people are updating their apps to work. I'm not seeing a lot of these error messages I used to see on Steam on my Mac. Maybe at some point Valve just gave up. It's like, yeah, let's end the learning German portion of this. Going on for 44 minutes past the time where I can do that. Thank you for tuning in. If you're tuned in for that, I'll be back at 11 p.m. most nights for more learning German, and then on Sundays I'll start a little bit earlier, around 4 p.m. for the Sunday leaderboard crunch, where I try to do a little bit more and just get a little bit further into that. I will probably never be playing the Elder Scrolls Online. Tune in tomorrow for German and Linux talk, where we only run SUSE Linux or SUSE Linux. SUSE Linux still around? It must be, right? Yeah. SUSECon Digital. Get these 3 orbs we've rendered. What does this even mean? What's the meaning of the 3 orbs? Oh my gosh. I love the lizard. The gecko or whatever it is. So this is very enterprisey. But this is the company I think of when I think of German Linux. They're a German Linux company. Anyway, yeah, that's it for learning German or whatever this is. Bye. I'll be back in a minute for something else. I don't know what.